Dinner was delectable. Over small talk, they first enjoyed an appetizer of oysters Rockefeller, followed by the main course comprising of a chicken breast stuffed with camembert and pesto. Catherine tried to forego dessert, but Bob ordered 2 slices of Black Forest cheesecake. Sinful yet divine. Afterward, wiping the corners of her mouth with a cloth napkin, she asked, "Can you believe some people eat this way regularly? If so, there ought to be a law against it." Following Turkish coffee in the tiniest cups she had ever seen, the band started up. Without question, they made the best-looking couple on the dance floor, though they proved not to be the best dancers. While Bob was light on his feet, Catherine tripped a few times. Luckily, no one got injured. She was self-conscious because she was taller, and her 2-inch heels made her feel like a giant. When they danced in the speakeasies or dance halls, she always wore flat shoes. Could it be true that a woman should be shorter than her male escort? She visibly stiffened when he twirled her. This week, I will be diving into Dancing in the Ring by Susan Sage here on the Bored Goddess Book Reviews. Hello, my book-loving friends, and welcome to another wonderful week here in my library. I am the Bored Goddess, and I am so excited to share with you yet another incredible story. Please remember that by liking and subscribing to my channel, you are helping me continue to uncover awesome stories, to keep creating video book reviews for your enjoyment and entertainment. While you're at it, don't forget to stick around until the end credits for the silliness that is the blooper reel. If you're new to my channel, let me introduce Mad Max, my chief ratings duck. It is with phenomenal skill, amazing talent, and sheer brilliance, with which he summons forth his feathered fowls to make his final rating. Right, Max, shall we dive forth into another amazing adventure? Awesomeness. Let's do this. This week we are spotlighting an amazing author submission, Dancing in the Ring by Susan Sage. Because of its sexual undertones and scenes of a traumatic nature, I should make it clear that this novel is intended for mature readers and may be triggering to a more sensitive audience. However, I should also point out that these topics are necessary to the story and handled beautifully by the author. It was the roaring 20s and the beginning of a new era. It was a time of prohibition and speakeasies, short skirts, bobbed hair, and rolled stockings. It was a time of jazz and movie stars. It was a world filled with change, bringing freedoms to women unheard of in the past. Catherine McIntosh is one of these young modern women, determined to obtain her law degree despite the profession being dominated by men. Robert Sage is also pursuing law and is financing his college education by being a professional boxer. His gregarious personality allows him to become friends with everyone he meets. But when he meets Kate at law school, it's love at first sight. He woos her throughout their college years, and as most of the youth of the jazz age do, they spend their weekends dancing and drinking. While both Bob and Kate graduate from the Detroit College of Law, Catherine obtains honors with her degree. Eventually they marry, and Bob becomes known as the battling barrister due to his fame as a boxer, with Catherine becoming one of the first female attorneys in Detroit. Together they start their own law firm, Sage and Sage, with noble dreams of defending and empowering the less fortunate. At first, the sky's the limit, and their law firm is doing well. But though they find each other to be swell and the bee's knees, Bob and Kate's relationship becomes anything but stable. Though ambitious and intelligent, Kate is also deeply troubled. While facing a profession filled with resentful men, Kate also wrestles with issues of the time, when women were expected to serve their husbands and children, not follow careers in law. Successful in his own career, Bob is also a notorious ladies' man with a temper. He does not understand why Kate will not conform to the rigid expectations of society by being subservient to her husband. The stock market crash of 1929 begins to resemble the crumbling nature of their marriage. And the ensuing Great Depression indelibly alters their lives forever. I am deeply grateful that the author submitted this book to my website. This story expanded my enjoyment of genres, which extend beyond my normal comfort zone in literature. I can see now I don't take enough time to explore and risk passing up some remarkable books. This extraordinary story would have been one I would have been very sorry to miss. This book immediately drew me into its location of Detroit, Michigan, as my own ancestry is centered in that city, through my mother's family who settled there in 1928. However, I had no idea how deeply I would become involved in the poignant relationship between the author's great-aunt and uncle, which is the basis of this historical fiction. I was hooked from the start. From its opening pages, the book puts you firmly into the minds of its main characters, Robert Sage and Catherine McIntosh, through the use of contemporary language in both dialogue and narrative. Rather than catering to modern perspectives, the reader is transported to this fascinating era by becoming a part of a very different world, complete with all of its flaws. This is a real slice-of-life story, not just about America's post-World War I jazz age, filled with happy flappers, prohibition, and joyous dancing until dawn. The narrative also provides a gritty, hard, and intense look at real life in a world torn apart by war and financial ruin, and changing so much of what I believed about the Roaring Twenties. The author fills the story with rich detail describing even the smells, sights, and sounds of the era, and peppers the book with popular slang of the time. There is an outstanding depth to the development and portrayal of the main characters, allowing the reader to become wholly immersed in their turbulent but passionate relationship. From the moment of meeting the interesting yet flawed characters of Kate and Bob, I felt as if I knew them, struggling beside them within their tortured marriage and lives continually knocking them to the ground. I often had tears in my eyes. The author's compassionate yet pull-no-punches realistic writing style envelops the reader within a world filled with double standards for men and women, discrimination in employment and education, and lives unprepared for the social, political, and economic stress of the jazz age. This read simply pulls at your heartstrings and never lets go. There isn't much I didn't love about this book. For me, it contains everything required for a solid piece of historical fiction. It did contain a few grammatical errors, but none of these detracted from the story whatsoever. On a purely personal note, I would have loved to see more depth of description in the speakeasies and dance halls of the time. While these were mentioned and referenced, I am a creature of detail, so I would have loved to really experience more. All right, Max, it's the time that everyone's been waiting for. Are you ready to rate this awesome book? I entirely agree, dear Max. Due to the incredible story, fantastic characters, and stunning description of post-World War I Detroit, Dancing in the Ring by Susan Sage is awarded our highest rating possible. 5 ducks. I have linked to the Amazon affiliate page for this book below. I highly recommend it. Please do check out this and Susan Sage's other incredible books as well. Have you read Dancing in the Ring? Let's discuss it in the comments or my Discord, also linked below. I am there every day and looking very forward to building a community of like-minded indie book admirers. My review schedule for 2023 is now completely filled. But I am reserving places for 2024. So if you're an author of an indie book and would like me to do a video review of your work, please submit a request on my website, theboardgoddess.weebly.com. The link to the page is listed below. If you are a reader and have a favorite little-known self-published novel, please feel free to leave a request for video review for readers on my website. The form page can be found below as well. Should I choose the book, I'll give you a high five in the review. I'm also on Instagram, Goodreads, and Twitter. The links are there. When I don't have my nose in a book, I am always up for a book chat or just saying hi. And hey, this is Thirsty Work. If you would like to send me a coffee, I have the link down below as well. So guys, that's it for now. Thank you so much for hanging with me. Adios until next Wednesday. May your day be epic, and may awesomeness follow you like a sad puppy needing hugs. See you next time. Bye all. If you're new to my channel, let me introduce Mad Max! I couldn't grab him with the... It's like... with which he summons forth his Bethel... With Catherine becoming one of the first females... First female attorneys in Detroit. Not one of the first females in Detroit. Okay. I mean, that would be impressive. For me, it contains every... No, what?